problem no matter what. Like you're gonna. There's that story in the Tao Te Ching where the priest says, "Hey, I got appointed to a position within this empire, and I'm wondering what you would suggest I do to consult with the emperor." And his partner is like, his friend is like, "Well, you're fucked. Like, no matter what you do, it's not gonna work. Don't even try." And he says, "Well, like if I do try, what do you suggest?" He's like, "Well, first of all, I would do this and this and this." But there's a story like that, meaning your so it's like, I hate to say it, but don't do it. Just read a book, because in a way you have to like have a frontispiece or your forward facing hat on, but you have to have this internal hat, which is the real hat, which is your internal emotional position. And then this is like from tarot, it's about position and influences. So you are like still falling prey to the influences in your position. And it's really about like awareness or mindfulness, but choices on communication. And so if I was your communication consultant, I would say, just stop doing what you're doing, and just get back into the books, because strategically it's the smarter. Type A hypnosis, you're doing type B hypnosis, which is
What about
disjointed.
the people who create the wisdom books? Like, what if, I mean, granted, I'm not creating much, but I have created some. And the way that we create these days, I mean, we're not really writing books so much anymore. We're often making little videos. But you don't think that any of these videos, like, what if I made a video that was contained wisdom in the same way that, like, the Tanya has wisdom? You're saying that the Alter Rebbe who wrote the Tanya, he created wisdom, but now in our generation, all we do is consume the wisdom and what do you call it? Amplify the wisdom that's already been created. I like amplifying wisdom that's already been created, but can't we create our own wisdom too and say, this is what I think?
If you just interject your little wisdom snippet into your communication, it's still not gonna. See, the thing is, it's about your brain primarily being almost like, the concept of nirvana. It's in your brain. It's not like in the world. And so, if you want to get your brain to nirvana, you have to do that by like recreating the sage within your mind. And I pretty well, it's a little more than that, because when you review your TikTok and you watch yourself reading the Tao Te Ching, it like it's in your brain, really, really in your brain, because you can go back to your book on his communication is going to be useful for him. And Zach, I'm, playing devil's advocate. You could call me a loser, psychopath, crazy person who records himself 80 hours a week on YouTube, and that I'm doing nothing important. But then I could text you a link of me reading a book and be like, all right, well, what do you think about this? And then you could text me a link about something you created. Say, what do you think about this? And I'd be like, all right, well, what do you, Zach? I'm playing devil's advocate to force you to say fuck it.
I appreciate it. I don't ever feel the one time that have you ever heard my feelings was the one time about a year that I wanted to read a poem and then you moved me to the audience and that very much but honestly, that sense of love and I feel good.
Yeah. For it. But now that I like you again, or I liked you then, I would listen to it now because I have, open ears for friends' wonderful poetry and wisdom. Danelle, welcome.
Those who have ears, let them hear.
Yes, Danelle, welcome to the room, Danelle. We are creating a book club. Chris here is going to live stream it for the interwebs. So, Chris, are you going to streamable it, or are you going to YouTube it, or will we have a record of it? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Well, I've got 3 clubhouse rooms open. Um, so I've been putting a lot on TikTok.
Well, I guess there's no point in participating in these conversations, the big picture conversations. I keep feeling like I'm very upset about the big picture things, but I guess you gotta just kind of let it go and focus on what you can focus on. But
I mean, could you imagine laughing about murders not laughing about murders, but laughing the next day, or even the same day, like when Charlie Kirk got murdered, and I would go into into politically correct, and you could hear this large, loudmouth black guy laughing about how happy he was that Charlie was assassinated. Like that's when my blood was boiling. But the greatest revenge is capturing somebody being. I'm not saying Jeffrey Epstein style. I'm saying people, in these types of spaces where they are being egregiously vulgar, profane, and disgusting.
But there are so many of them. I guess maybe I'm just too sensitive or too emotional or yeah. I don't know what it is, but I'm very upset and disturbed by how much evil there is in the world. I'm very disturbed by it. I mean, the difference is that we already have a magic stone that lets us have anonymity. You think when JFK died, there were people that were like, fuck yeah, JFK got killed. Yes, but I think that everywhere, but now we have the illusion because everyone has their dumb fucking voice out there and can actually see it. I think that that is kind of a cop out because it could be easily disproven. I mean, a lot of the modern violence such a modern thing. You need to have subway. You need to have fire. You need to have access to strangers. You need to have New York City or something like that, because if you lived 100,000 years ago in a small little tribe, you wouldn't have access to portable fire and you wouldn't have access to strangers. The best that you could do would be to bash their brains with a rock, but they would have access to the same rocks as you, and they'd probably be able to see you coming, because it's not like a subway car where you're listening to your Apple earbuds. You know what I'm saying? And like a lot of people say, oh, it's just the technology that's amplifying it and making it more visible. But I think that there's a lot about the modern world that's actually making us more, not us, not us, because we're amazing. The three of us are very smart, and we're probably three of the coolest people ever. We're going to be the ones who are going to figure it out, John. We're going to solve it. Don't you see?
Nothing ever gets solved, and people aren't doing anything, and it's just conversational hypnosis. There's no doing, and you are not what you say you are. You are what you do.
If we had a weekly book club that met for like an hour or something, and that was a part of my calendar, that would be a life improver.
Yeah, I just took a girl out of the date last night.
That would be a life improvement, I think. That would be, because we use Clubhouse very sporadically. We don't have like a set schedule. We could set a time and then have book club. I mean, I know you're doing it all the time, but maybe we have a dedicated time that I can show up every week.
Coulda, woulda, maybe shoulda.
If you're trying to escape, you can't negotiate with the magic stone. You gotta throw it away. You're trying to be a hero.
That was my initial plan, was live in the woods. No stone.
Danelle, are you interested in joining our book club? We read to each other for 10 minutes. You get to pick any book you want. Oh wow, okay. I thought you were gonna sign up. Yeah, a lot of people go to book clubs and they only have one book to discuss, and they don't even read it to each other. They just sit there and have another conversation about the book, as opposed to, because my contention is that no one's reading at all, so we have to read in the book club to prove people are actually reading.
Right, to keep reading alive.
That's a really cool way to turn people on other stuff.
Yeah.
That's actually a very unique idea for a book club. And there's not really something like that. I mean, you're very correct, because all the you just hear 10 minutes of 10 different books. And you're like, okay, that was that book, read by John. That's that. That was that. And then you go on to the next. And that's like a totally different thing from book discussion group. That's good. That makes sense. Makes sense. Book. Well, you know, I'm down. All of my work is fairly solitary here, teaching a driving lesson in a few hours. And then it was Kabbalah class on Tuesday, but the Kabbalah class is over. So now no more Kabbalah class.
Well, there's Kabbalah in the book club.
That's true. Danelle, do you know about the Kabbalah? Danelle, have you ever thought about accepting the Lord Jesus, Jewish Christ into your heart? You can get in, if John can get in with a amethyst, what is it called, tefillin? Then anybody can get in.
You have to have a Jewish mother. That's actually become Jewish.
No, you don't.
Danelle, haven't you heard of the fucking book club? Have you heard of the book club yet? Don't you understand what books are?
Danelle, the Jewish mother thing. The were so many white Jews?
They were traveling around, they were banging, you know? They were banging Jewish girls.
No, the books. The books.
Yeah, the book. They did the book.
You know, you can export a book anywhere, and suddenly those people become the book, and they convert to the faith of the book.
The book, Atah Adonai.
Have you ever heard the postmodernist theory?
We could Moses and say to them, my offering, my food offering, consumed by fire, a pleasing odor to me, you shall be careful to offer me at its appointed time. And you shall say to them, this is the fire offering which you shall offer to the Lord, 2 yearling male lambs without blemish every day as a daily burnt offering. You shall offer one lamb in the morning and the other lamb toward evening, and a tenth of an ephah of fine flour mixed with a fourth of a hin of oil of crushed olives as a meal offering. This is a daily burnt offering, as it was made at Mount Sinai for a pleasing odor, a fire offering to the Lord, and its wine offering shall be a fourth of a hin. For the one lamb in the sanctuary you shall pour out a wine offering of strong wine.
It's supposed to wake you up or like bring you into the now where God lives. God doesn't live in the past or the future. God is only in the now. So that's the whole point about the incense and making burnt offerings, because obviously there's no like flaming, swirling fire tornado to eat the turkey or the oxen or the cow. Like, so the whole thing is a ritual to bring you into the now. Hello? Hello?
I'm here. I also have the dishes. I don't know if I should stay unmuted and then you can just hear the water, or I should mute up. version of that song that I haven't found yet. There was like a techno version. Have you made any new music?
Yeah, because you pointed out, Take the Deepest Breath of the Day is my big banger, and since I also thought it was my biggest banger, I recreated it like 10 other times with different varieties and different categories. Have you heard my latest? Strike the master chord, draw the flaming sword. The key lyrics are strike the master chord, draw the flaming sword.
Well, there's another one you've been playing a lot, the 8 and 1.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? The same thing?
No, that's a poem by Crowley called Aha.
Right, that's a good one.
This is Hello, Breathe. Just imagine if Jazzy was breathing instead of talking. See, like, what could happen is we could become big music stars and then, like, put on Supernova 2 next to the Gaza Strip, and then, like, and we could also get killed by Islamic jihadists coming to a concert to murder people who just like music, and then the whole world would be like,
this war didn't just start, it happened October 7th, it's been going on for 75 fucking.
let me play for you the. This is another deepest breath of the day. Have you taken the deepest breath of the day? If you want the life force instead of creating a room called Why Aren't Muslims Being Taught by Jays, create a room called Guided Breathing Meditation by Zach De La Ruta. And so what I'm trying to say is what the material you present is very important. And actually, what most people really want, but they don't know that they want it yet or need, is breathing. And so there's no point to have conversations with people who aren't even breathing. Zach, also, I don't know if you know this, but I am
the slightest trace of right and wrong, and mind is lost in confusion. One being is the source of the two. However, do not even maintain the one. With one mind then to rising, then everything is without blame. No blame. And you will not be fallen against the great waves of embrace. Small views are resolute for doubt. Now in haste, then too late. Grasp the
It is lacking no suchness. Do not follow conditions. Do not dwell in emptiness. Cherishing oneness in the heart, everything will stop by itself. For things, changes that go on in